electric mobility slowly chipping away at the two-wheeler commuter segment, legacy motorcycle manufacturers are now focusing on middleweight motorcycles to offer that right mix of highly stylized design, performance and practicality. As such, we've seen offers from Royal Enfield, BMW, TVS, everyone popularizing that segment. And of course, then there's Honda. Now, Honda, of course, is at the peak of its powers, winning everything from Dakar to MotoGP. And so, with its reputation for nearly invincible high-performance machines, has already offered not one but two middleweight contenders, one being a classic standard and one being a neo-retro street bike. So when Honda tells us that it's got one more offering in that same space, albeit shrouded in mystery, our curiosities are naturally piqued.
This is the all-new Honda CB300F, and it's been introduced as an all-new contender in the street fighter category. Except Honda already has a contender in the naked street bike category, and it's called the CB300R. Surely the need of the R was in another naked street bike.
Honda, of course, says otherwise. In fact, Honda says that this is an all-new motorcycle with an all-new oil-cooled engine as opposed to the liquid-cooled one that powers the CB300R. In terms of what is similar is the fact that this too gets golden inverted show-off forks, a rare monoshock suspension, but with 5 adjustable preload setting as opposed to the 7 found on the CB300R. It's still got the same diamond frame chassis, but the wheelbase is a little longer, the ride height is a little lower, and the overall riding stance is a little more upright because Honda insists that this is a little more touring-focused motorcycle with the traditional Honda styling cues as opposed to the neo-retro ones that are found on the CB300R. Of course, the most prominent difference here is the fact that this makes nearly 10 bhp less power with 23.8 bhp and 26.5 Nm of torque, which means that pretty much everything in its circle, every competitor motorcycle makes more power. And for this bike to really justify its presence in this segment, it really has to be able to do something exceptionally well.
The CB300F is a light, compact machine eager to cross the 100 km/h mark, with the first two gears being short, much like the CB300R, while the latter are taller and geared for touring. With 23.8 bhp of total power, it's only a slightly more powerful sibling of the Hornet 2.0, but one that costs nearly $1 lakh more. While you do get some additional grunt, especially a healthy dose of torque, it isn't by any sense a scorcher, and its attempt to bridge the gap between the Hornet and the CB300R can leave the rider feeling a bit underwhelmed. On the ergonomic front, it feels incredibly comfortable to ride long distance and is able to accommodate riders of varying sizes with a slender, shapely form that's easy to wrap yourself around. Grip is available in heaps, and the CB300F takes well to being thrown into corners with abandon. The way it delivers power, however, could be a little better.
Now, there is a lot to be liked about this motorcycle. It feels really compact, it leans in nicely, there's a nice little grunt at the bottom end, which means it accelerates pretty quickly. But, if I'm being completely honest, I did expect a little more from a Honda. For starters, there are refinement issues. Now, of course, single-cylinder engines traditionally tend to be high on vibrations, and to do that, manufacturers put in what's called a balancer shaft. Now, Honda tells me that there is one in this, but when I ride it, vibrations do make themselves apparent all the way till 4000 RPM, even in third gear. And for a bike that's geared towards touring, it just leaves a little bit more to be desired. On the acceleration front, it takes off nicely. It's a light motorcycle. It's got really easy, manageable proportions, and from all accounts, it would make for a really nice city bike. But on the highway, with 300cc, right under the tank, you do expect just a little more grunt and a little more torque, because honestly, this kind of performance can also be managed by a slightly smaller motorcycle. For this bike to really make sense, Honda needs to bring down the pricing just a little bit more. At present, there's only 50,000 approximately separating the CB300F and the CB300R. The R being a lighter machine with a lot more power. So on those fronts, it doesn't exactly shine through.
When viewed in isolation, the CB300F makes for a fast, robust city bike with sharp styling, impeccable Honda build quality, and reasonable amount of power. But at Rs 2.26 lakhs, its price is a little steep, considering that competition like the Royal Enfield Hunter 350 is available for a lot less. A revised price tag, a bit more power, and the CB300F could see a lot more takers, because at the end, it's still a Honda.